Hello and welcome back to the Chase Payne podcast. I feel a bit sad today because this is the penultimate episode for the Arnold Fitness Games. This is episode number 7, and we're going to finish with an absolute bang. Before we go into that, though, I want to thank our sponsors today and for all of the series episodes. BXS Gymwear, they're going to be at the Arnold Fitness Games, so go and see them at their stand. And you can use code DART to get a 10% discount. They're great guys there, and they will help you out with anything you need fitness-wise. So today we've got a special episode based all around, it's actually celebrating the Arnold Fitness Games and what it means, not just to the athletes, but also to previous athletes. And we've got the owner here, Rick Hornsey. Thanks for joining us today, big man. Really appreciate your time today. We've also got Anna, who is competing at the event. We were on the podcast the other day, Anna. Thanks so much. That was great fun. You're an absolute superstar. And we've also got a special guest today. So we've got Lucy Campbell, who is absolute legend on the CrossFit scene. Had a fantastic win again in the Open. Back from Wadapalooza, absolutely smashed it again. And of course, second in the games last year and looking to become an absolute champ again this year. And Lucy, the reason why you're here today is because you took part and was champion of the Arnold Fitness Games back in 2021. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I guess it was it was like the first Arnold's. I think coming out of COVID, prior to COVID, Arnold's was basically lone wolves. So I won Lone Wolves, Battle for Underground Lone Wolves event in 2019, and that was like my first big elite sort of event on
Yeah,
the UK circuit. I think I was like
yeah.
a year into CrossFit, and then COVID came and shut down everything, and Arnold essentially came out of that, and it was like the first sort of big event in the UK scene. Um, and yeah, it was a tough field and a tough set of workouts, and I think it sort of really set the standard for what Arnold's has kind of become in terms of what to expect when you're there. We had seated legless rope climbs, there was ring muscle ups, there was a 95 kilo barbell at the end of the workout and stuff like that. Like, it was no joke in terms of the programming, and the athletes that were there were, the last heat was basically pretty much all sort of semi-finals levels athletes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really cool event, really, really well run, as always with the Battle for Middle Ground events and the Graft events, well, Graft events now.
Yeah, most
So yeah.
definitely. And you know what? Again, Rick, coming to you, dude. The standard at the Arnold Fitness Games for the individuals is so high. Obviously, sat here with Lucy today, we can see that. And even looking at the lineup this year, the standard is just incredible. It is an event that people take seriously, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that creates its own issues with you want it to be acceptable and approachable for everybody, um, but then your kind of spectrum that you're working with for customers, from the likes of Lucy, right
Yeah.
down to just been doing CrossFit a little while, kind of
Me.
found fitness. But I mean, even you've been doing it a while. Like, in the beginners category, we literally get people that might have only been doing it less than a year, wanting to give it a
Yeah.
go. It is pretty hard to try and get the balance right, that you're managing to scale across properly so that everybody kind of, it gets pushed and gets their limits pushed, which they definitely should do at this one. But also, like, is achievable. Even if
Yeah.
you manage to finish a workout, you're still getting a good chunk through, and the top lot will probably finish all of them.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something you've always done really, really well. And like you say about bringing challenging workouts. You've stuck rope climbs in the 45 plus middle ground, which I absolutely love, which is brilliant. And Anna, unfortunately, has got a few challenging movements as well to accept. Isn't that right, Anna?
Yeah, just a few. Honestly, when the workout started to be released, I was like, because when we did the podcast, I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm still working on my handstand walk. So like, if they're gonna be in the
Yeah.
workouts, I'm probably gonna struggle. I didn't even think the fact that could be ring muscle ups. I'm like, oh, can't do those yet as well. But you know what? We're gonna have it. So I feel like from the workouts that have been released, there's definitely 3 that are definitely gonna be a big challenge. But then there's gonna be a couple that I'm like, okay, I can do them, but they're still gonna be really hard. Like the power cleans at 60 kilos, like it's still quite challenging. It's 3 rounds at such punchy time caps as well. So yeah, I would say every workout is going to be a very big challenge, but it's super exciting though. It's definitely next level workouts in terms of Arnold. So it's definitely elite level for sure.
Yeah, that's good though. You want to be challenged. We actually discussed the workouts yesterday on the podcast that got released today. But what I will say is, so the Arnold Fitness Games itself, we know it's a fantastic competition, and it's given people that opportunity to kind of not put themselves in the shop window, but to actually stand out. For you, Lucy, when you won that competition, did you feel as though that gave you a springboard or any confidence to really push on?
Um, yeah, I think, it was it's so hard because Arnold's is basically like one of, if not the sort of top level event in the UK that's kind of just below that semi-finals,
Yeah,
maybe French throwdown kind of feel. Um, and so I think it gave me confidence in relation to the UK scene, yes,
yeah,
but then you go to those other events, that semi-final step, and that's next level. So it's like it you very quickly get put back in your place. And I think that was, I won Arnold's in October 21, and then January 2022 was Wadapalooza, and that was like my first really big kind of international event. And I think what it did do was give me confidence on some movements that I'd never been able to test in a competition scenario before. So we did have ring muscle ups. I'd only ever done those, as part of the online semi-finals earlier that year and that sort of thing, but I'd never really done them in like a live setting before. The seated legless rope climb definitely threw a bit of a spanner in the works for me, and I was terrified in that workout because we had like five seated legless rope climbs slap bang in the middle of the workout, and it was a quite an interference heavy workout as well. And
yeah,
so I think it gave me confidence on like certain things. But then I think, as is the blessing and the curse of CrossFit, you sort of go to a next level of event, and then you get hit with all sorts of other stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, like that confidence that I've gained maybe needs to go into other areas
yeah.
again now, and I've still got work to do.
Yeah. Is that, though what though? I really like hearing you use that word terrified, and I'm hoping the listeners actually picked up on that as well. Because for Anna, again, for you to hear Lucy say the word terrified in a workout, I'm guessing that's how you feel right now with some of those workouts that have been released. And to hear that human side come out, because we only see Lucy performing as an absolute beast on the TV screen, and seeing what she can do is incredible. But knowing that she's come through that journey, it doesn't happen overnight. For you, Anna, how does that make you feel knowing that it's okay to be terrified?
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing. We're all human. And I think we are all terrified and we all have feelings and like we all have got like doubts, even I think on like a very elite level. So I think it's very calming to hear that as well, because from one side, I think we're all terrified in one way, but then on the other side, excited as well. So I think it's actually quite calming to know that like it's not just us, it's everyone. I'm sure like all the top
Yeah.
elite level athletes, including Lucy, like they all get terrified. I'm sure they all get like really worried before the comp. They all get the nervous pee. They all have to do this stuff, So it's just really normal.
Yeah, for sure. Rick, from your point of view, we look at Lucy, and she was an athlete before she got into CrossFit. Nowadays you have a lot of people that are in the teenage division, go through that, go to the games and become big things. But with Lucy, it was a case of, I don't want to say coming in under the radar, but a bit of a late developer because of her athlete career before. And the Arnold Fitness Games, how did you support her through that and onwards from there?
Well, to be honest, we try and help all the sort of top lot. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we do a paid podium,
Yeah,
which is getting harder and harder to do. But I want to try and support these people to actually not have to work 60 hours a week to somehow still fit training in. I want to be able to try and make it where they can manage to train like an athlete and get in the recovery and everything that they need. Um, other than that, we've done bits and pieces for numerous sort of UK athletes, helping them get to the games. So yeah, rather than just like as an events business, yeah, I do kind of take it on my shoulders that we've got a responsibility with it as well. That we kind of giving these people a bit of a stepping stone to get where they want to, but we're
Yeah.
trying to take them all the way as well.
Yeah, most definitely. And Lucy, I mean, a lot of people that will be listening to this, they might be starting their CrossFit career 25, 26, 27, or they might be 3 or 4 years in the kind of late 20s. I think it's really encouraging to know what you've achieved in your CrossFit career so far and what you want to go on and achieve. And I think to those guys, it gives them a lot of confidence, Paul, since the Arnolds at that top level going into your mid to late 20s. So as a late developer with the
Hey.
CrossFit, when you with your pro athlete background and then coming into CrossFit, mid
Yeah.
20s, a lot of people start in the teens, but people that are competing this weekend, maybe 24, 25, 26, and this will encourage them to know they can still push on.
Yeah, I think as well with that, 100% be encouraged that you can have big goals and you can have big aspirations and everything like that.
Yeah.
And also remember that, like, for me, I didn't start CrossFit when I was in my teens, but I did have a very extensive, very useful
Yeah.
career as an athlete before that. And so, a lot of people might look at me and be like, oh yeah, like I was a year into CrossFit basically when I won Lone Wolves, and that was that was essentially Arnold's at the time. But it's not like I didn't have these really extensive years of hard training going into
For
that.
sure.
But I think ultimately, the thing that carries through is always going to be like the work ethic. I pay attention to detail. I work really hard at whatever it is that I choose to do, and that has, started off with a pretty successful gymnastics career. Like, I never got to the level that I wanted to get to, but I qualified for nationals and stuff like that. And then it got me to the GB junior circuit with swimming and things like that. And now it's got me to where I am now. But ultimately, I still find this fun. I still love training. I still love being able to compete. Like, I feel very at home and alive on the competition floor. I think a lot of people, when they either start really young, and unfortunately this is what we've seen with some of the games teen athletes that came through, like Mal, like Haley, is that it becomes their whole thing. It becomes everything. And at the same time, it has to be fun at the end of the day. You have to enjoy it at the end of the day. For most people that are competing at Arnold's, and to be fair, for most people in CrossFit, this is never going to be their livelihood. I am very, very lucky that I am at the stage that I am now, where this is my livelihood and I get to achieve that dream. But I think for a lot of people, it's like, contextualize it. If you haven't had the weekend this weekend that you want to have, it's not the end of the world. Like, if it makes you feel really, really terrible about yourself, it's not that deep. Like, you can go back to training, you can work on all the things that you want to work on. Having a bad weekend doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you had a bad weekend. Like, no one is judging you past that. Whereas I think, like, when we put so much effort into it, you put so much pressure on yourself every time you step out onto the floor, and actually it's just like, this is you getting to show off all of your hard work. And like, I think that every time I get to step on the floor, especially because I had that period where it was nearly taken away from me, I feel so lucky every time I get to go out there. And I think, like, I know that this is my job, but ultimately this is the thing that I love to do the most. And I think that for everyone, if you keep that as like your driving factor, that will take you further than anything else. Like, just pure enjoyment of whatever you're doing here will take you further than anything. And that's definitely been the main thing that's taken me this far, for sure.
That's really, really good to hear. And it is coming from yourself, again, sharing that information. I've asked that question similar question to all the athletes, and I asked Anna it as well, kind of, what do you want to get out of the weekend? What are you looking to achieve out of it? And to be fair, as much as people want to win or do their best, everyone has said, look, I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy the day. And you've practiced over 12, 16 weeks to get to the Arnolds. Getting there is a success anyway. And you want to showcase yourself. And Rick puts on this performance, this show to go out there and showcase yourself. The Arnolds to me is my CrossFit Games. Like that's my pinnacle for everything that I've done. But I go there, my daughter comes, my wife comes, and they watch, and it is such a good, fun experience. And wherever you come, as long as you try your best, that's the most important thing. Anna, for you, hearing that, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, so motivating, because that's the thing though. I think us as, everyday athletes, let's call, we have full-time jobs and then we train on the side. I think a lot of us still put a lot of pressure on ourselves, thinking like, I must win, I need to come on 10, whatever it is. But I think I was going into it anyway I just want to enjoy it. I'm going to have all my friends come around to support me. The workouts are really challenging, so I'm going to still put pressure on myself. I'm going to do my very best, but I'm not going to be upset if I can't get that ring muscle up, because, well, I haven't got there yet. I just really want to enjoy it. I'm sure it's going to be enjoyable. Although on Sunday, I'm going to be probably so broken because the workouts are honestly so hard. But honestly, it's very
I'm going to
motivating.
remind you that you said it's enjoyable, Anna, when I interview you after the first workout.
Go round.
Dying out there,
Halfway through the
literally.
first
Yeah. No, but
What's that,
yeah.
Rick?
I'll ask it halfway through the first workout.
Rick, from your point of view, obviously hearing, my thoughts on what the Arnolds means to me and Anna, and hearing about Lucy, kind of getting that feedback. You're the guy that has set the Arnolds up. You're the one that's putting on this big show. That's got to be a reward for you, right?
Yeah, if it goes well. There's a lot of pressure on us, and again, the amount of we just live in this modern day and age where everyone's got an opinion and a voice on everything.
Yeah.
We literally get moans and opinions about every decision and everything we do. So the pressure really is on us to not drop the ball and make it a good show. And I don't think people really get that pressure, like have an understanding of it. It's like a lot of work goes into it. Not everything is in our hands. We have to obviously do a lot of mitigation around that to try and make sure that it goes the way we want it to go. But yeah, like if it's a success, then yeah, it's rewarding. And bringing this to the community is rewarding in itself.
Yeah.
I think that the best times is walking around the competition floor and seeing people just
Seeing it all in action and actually going together, right?
It's not even that for me. It's like seeing someone have like that amazing, do the first handstand walk, do the first like PB a clean, whatever. Those like absolutely amazing bits that, if I'm honest, competitions for me are so amazing for. Like you're more likely to get a new movement or a PB lift or whatever it might be on a competition floor with those nerves and a bit of adrenaline than you probably are training in your home gym. You competing the whole day, so after the first workout, as long as you've warmed up properly, you've fully warmed up and mobilised, so you actually move a little bit better even though you're
Mate, I'm
tight.
45 years old, mate. After the first workout, I'm done.
All right, you start warming up today. But it is so rewarding, and to kind of echo what Lucy said as well about that, about her sort of mentality of enjoying it and stuff, is if there's one giveaway I can give to people about it is to have that kind of mindset. Like warm up, enjoy the warm up area, have a laugh with other competitors. It's your chance to like actually meet the community and have a laugh with them.
Yeah.
Come out to the competition floor, have a laugh with your judge. It just works so much better as a dynamic than you coming at it. Usually people aren't rude to judges because they're rude. It's normally because they're so stressed. But come out, have a laugh with your judge. You'll probably get away with a few sneaky no reps if you have, like, it's all the same tactics that are played in any sport. So just have a laugh with them, get on, have a laugh with the people either side in the lane, either side of you, like egg them on, say who's going unbroken, all that type of fun stuff. Like you're there to play a sport, so have fun doing it. And like there will be bits that are challenging, there will be bits that are slightly frustrating, but there are a lot of wins with it as well. You will do a lot of cool stuff that you didn't think you could do. So just take the wins. Take learning points and be like, right, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on my handstand walks or this, that, and the other. Like there's so many athletes, like Esther Lloyd, I can remember her first time then, she could not do handstand walks. She spent literally 5 minutes on the competition floor with me trying to get her first meter. And she said, Auntie, next time I come back, I'll smash them. And she did. She came back the
Brilliant.
next year and she absolutely nailed them. But again, it's about that mindset. She didn't get frustrated. She understood that it was a weak area for her. She kind of took it on the chin, kept on working, kept on trying, had a brilliant attitude all weekend, and went away and worked on it. And
I
that's what,
think I think the thing is as well, second to that, is that like if you go into these sorts of events and your only objective is a specific outcome, so whether that is top 5, top 10, winning, and you're only happy if that outcome comes true. Number one, there is so much out of your control in that situation. Like other people could have the competition of their lives, and even though you've done the absolute best that you can on the day, they're just better on that day, and like there's nothing more that you could have done, but you come away feeling really disappointed with your performance, really upset, even though you actually know that you could not have done any more.
Yeah.
But I think the second thing is that then you miss the opportunity for all of that stuff that Hornsy's just spoken about. Like you miss the opportunity to acknowledge all of those moments. And like for me, I actually miss competing at the sort of battle for middle ground type competitions, because it was everything I do now is so serious. And it's not
Yeah.
that like an Arnold's event isn't serious, because believe me, when I did it, it was like the biggest deal in the world. But it's just that like I think that everyone there, it is just fun. It's not like there's not sponsorships up for grabs. We're not talking about anything like that. It's like everyone there is just doing it because they love it. Everyone there is doing it. All of the volunteers, they're doing it because they love it. And I think there's something like super special about that.
Yeah, it really is. And I think when you're there, and we've all been there before, there's a fantastic atmosphere around the area. Lucy, for you made a really good point there in the fact that it would be really nice to come back and do an Arnold Fitness Games, for
Oof.
example. What is different? You spoke about it briefly then, but from your point of view, I mean, how do you now deal with that when you go into the large events, the CrossFit Games, whatever those are? How do you deal with that? Because you sound like you really enjoy the day and you do what you can to enjoy it. But how do you manage those emotions?
Um, I just recognize that they're completely normal.
Okay,
Like the level of nerves that I feel now are exactly the level of nerves that I felt for an Arnold's or a
brilliant.
Battle
Yeah,
of Middle Ground before I did
yeah,
that and stuff like that. Like I said earlier, I care about anything that I do, which means that I get nervous about like everything. I get nervous before anything. I get nervous before I do a workout and it's just a workout that I'm doing in the gym, because I know it's going to hurt and I know that I'm going to push to that level. But I think like, you know, everything that I'm doing now, it's as serious to me now as Arnold's was to me when I did Arnold's.
yeah,
Like, and I think all it is now is that I know that objectively, like in the context of the big CrossFit world, it's a big deal. Like I know that I'm now competing at a level where we have broadcast teams and there are cameras on you and there are people talking about you all the time and analysts are talking about your performance and all of that sort of stuff. But I know that, for me, I actually had a girl come up to me when I was training at Wadapalooza, when I was training before Wadapalooza, and she traveled from, I want to say Korea or somewhere, to the
wow,
event. And she asked me if I get nervous, and I was like, yeah, of course. And she was like, really? Like, she was so shocked. And I was like, yeah, like nerves literally just mean that you care. Like
yeah,
they mean that you feel like there is some sort of consequence that is going to come from your performance. And for me, nerves are a good thing. They're a good sign, because I knew that my swimming career was done because I stopped getting nervous before events. I just
Oh,
wanted them to be
interesting.
done.
Okay.
Like, I didn't get that adrenaline rush anymore, and
Right.
the nerves are like it's not necessarily a pleasant feeling, but I know that it's a necessary one, because it's like everything is getting ready for that one moment where I have to be focused on that one thing. And I think that, like, for me, there's no like deeper almost mindfulness that I get than competing, where I have that one job, I can only think about that one thing, because if I think about everything else, that one thing is the thing that suffers.
Yeah.
But I
Do you
know
feel as
that
though
the
you
nerves
couldn't?
have to come for that.
Do you feel as though you couldn't perform at that top level if you didn't have that tunnel vision in that moment?
Not that I couldn't perform, but that I don't think I would be performing at my top capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. And the thing is, from our point of view, Lucy, you know, if I paint this picture, like we see, whether it be a football player, American football, baseball, or CrossFit, when you see the top 0.01% of the world, like we view them as superheroes. So we view someone like yourself that puts on these extraordinary performances as a superhero. And I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't think you wouldn't get nervous, but the way you talk about that, it makes you feel human and look human, and it makes you feel better. Does that sound weird? I don't know. I just feel as though people listening here are like, you know what? When they watch Lucy Campbell next time on the start line, before the 3, 2, 1 go, she feels just like I do. We're all human. We're all, you know, flesh and blood and bone. We are all the same, just with different capabilities. So it's really refreshing to hear when you say that. Anna, do you feel the same about that?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like, as Lucy said, like, I think if you really care about something, whatever that is, like we're always talking here about Arnold's, about CrossFit, but I think it's with anything. You might be doing a job interview and you might be like really good at it, but then you'd still get nervous because you just really want to do well. So it's definitely very relatable, and it's really refreshing to hear.
Yeah, it is. Rick, can you cast your mind back to 2021 when Lucy won the Arnold Fitness Games? Let's go, Lucy Champ, and all
Let's
that.
go.
Can you remember something that really stood out from her? That you're like, I tell you what, there's something there that I know this lady is going to go all the way. Was there anything there? Do you remember?
No, mate, 'cause it was before then. No, but seriously, so
Okay.
when Lucy literally came from nowhere and
Yeah.
won Winter Soldiers, was it Winter Soldiers? Sorry,
Lone Wolves.
oh, sorry.
Lone Wolves.
You're like, where's she come from? Like, I ain't seen her on the scene this much. Like, where's she come from? And straight away, then you know these people are gonna go somewhere. Another
Yeah.
one, Jem Muir, literally
Oh,
came
yeah.
from. I can remember speaking to, I think it was either Claire or Sophie, and I was like, "Who's she?" Because I've not seen her before. She's literally come from nowhere, and she's on the podium. You normally see people go, like, kind of go through the ranks, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you see these people every now and again just kind of like turn up from nowhere, and you're like, right, yeah, there's something gonna happen there.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
Syria won
interesting.
last year, didn't she? Syria Mayer won last year and then qualified for the games. So whoever wins this year, it's a good sign.
This is an exclusive. Whoever wins this year, you're going to
Basically,
go to the games next year.
it's basically a golden ticket.
But it is incredible though to provide for you, Rick, to be able to provide that platform for people and to show actually people that have come here, been part of their journey, part of their process, part of their learning, and it's supported them and taken them to the games. It's a really big part of their journey, isn't it?
Yeah, and hopefully, like I say, it's just that thing where we want to try and get there where we're supporting the top people that are trying to take this professionally, but then
Yeah.
also every average Joe blogs and in between can have a good go at it as well and get on the same big stage and have a good laugh celebrating the
Yeah.
the work they've put in, or the rope climbs that don't happen, or at the moment winding everyone up saying that they're 30-foot rope climbs,
How
which
tall are they, mate?
we measured it today. We went down with the tape. It's 31 meters.
Brilliant. Perfect.
So everyone
Oh,
that's in for 30, like I said, they're screwed now. There's an extra meter there.
That's it.
I did actually practice rope climbs today, Rick. I did have a little practice. I was really trying to work on that scissor technique to support on all biceps and really drag myself up. So I've been trying to practice that skill today, and I wouldn't have practiced that and the chest to bar. Like, if you would have programmed that, I wouldn't have practiced it because,
Think
it's something I'm very good
squats,
at.
series
Sorry?
of squats. It's not an arm movement. Just as long as you're locking the legs
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
squat.
Push with those. However, though, I mean, Lucy doesn't know the workout. So the workout is 9
I
front
do know the
squats.
workout.
Oh, you do know?
I've got clients doing it.
Oh, have you really? So the front
Yeah.
squat workout, you're saying that use your legs. The legs have been blown up from the front squats.
You'll be fine.
It's pretty tough. We get quite a bit of flack a lot of the time for like having quite a lot of legs in workouts, and you're like, well, it is, and again, round equipment and that lot, but it's quite hard not to program legs in CrossFit.
Yeah, no. I mean, it is there are a lot of leggy workouts. It's a leggy workout. Listen, I love the workouts, mate. Rather not be chest to bar, but it is what it is. Like, we've got to face it. Got to take these things head on. Lucy, I was going to ask. So when you transferred from Arnold Fitness Games and you're going to the French Throwdown semi-finals and progressively in your career, was there any challenging moments with regards to making a name for yourself? Because you weren't obviously super well known from a social media point of view. You've smashed the scene, come in, and a lot of people get a lot of sponsorships, not because of how good they are, but because they're well known. So from you, you've obviously built up and you're now super well known, like an absolute legend in CrossFit. Did you have any challenging periods through that time?
I think it's a funny one. Like, number one, my goal has always been performance. Like, my concern was not with making myself well known. My concern was with getting to the level that I wanted to get to. I think I've
Yeah.
sort of realized after the fact how difficult it can be if you don't have the sponsors necessarily. I think I definitely went through a phase of getting frustrated where I felt like there were athletes who weren't at the level that I was at, that had
Agreed.
better brands and that sort of thing. I think the way that I've always sort of got through that is that I'm like, eventually I'll become good enough that they can't ignore me. Like, the
Yes,
brands
love it.
can't ignore me. And
Yeah.
so I think that's sort of the way that I've dealt with it. And I think, yeah, like, it's definitely something that I have always been a performance first person.
Yeah.
I recognize that that is not everyone. I see people who are more interested in spending more time with the social media side of things, and that's fine. And I have to deal with my own feelings about the fact that they are more attracted to brands, because that to me doesn't make sense. But that's the social media world that we live in now. Like,
Yeah.
Matt Fraser nowadays posting one random post every 3 months wouldn't necessarily have the contracts that he had back in the day.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, it's definitely like times have changed for sure. But my biggest challenge was definitely actually when I was actually getting dropped by the brands during the injury. And I
Right,
think, again, like, it's business at the end of the day. I wasn't competing and I wasn't on people's screens, and so they make the decision that they make. But yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. The way you've explained that is really well. So thank you for being honest with us. It is a flipping business, isn't it? At the end of the day, but you're an athlete. All you want to do is go out and perform. But that's not how these businesses view it. They look at you as a commodity, basically, and say, actually, how much airtime they're going to get, how much is my brand going to get out there. The same with maybe you, Rick, in competition. Like, if they're going to give you things to use, then you've got to use them. So you might have to program things more because it's got to be used, for example.
It's not necessarily program. Some little bits around equipment and things like that, but it's a similar battle. And before I go on to that, I just want to give Lucy another big chuck up for this, because not everybody gets this side of the business and what it is. So for Lucy and for us as a brand, for sponsorship deals and stuff like that. But me and Daz were on a bike before you two came on the call. But like, for the type of mental resilience that it took when you got your wrist injury to not only train intelligently through it, follow rehab, which most people probably wouldn't follow, properly, to probably have the financial burden of it as well. Because like I said to Daz before the call, I was like, a lot of people won't understand that when that injury happened, there was probably a lot of brands that started pulling the money away from you, which then takes the support that you need more than ever away through that time. So to push through that and come back and do what you've done, like massive kudos, massive kudos.
Incredible.
Thanks, so
It is
Uh,
incredible.
But yeah, from an events point of view, it's exactly the same. Like brands literally just want to know how many people are coming, what sort of exposure they'll get. So I know firsthand what Lucy kind of went through on that. Not quite the
Yeah.
same thing 'cause I didn't have the physicals, although I am old and battered now, my shoulders have given up. But I get exactly that. Like sometimes when you need the money more than anything, because it might help, for example, um, with us being able to just buy more bits for the athletes and for the spectators coming, so we improve everybody's like experience on the day. It's like that all comes from something, and I know everyone thinks they pay. Yeah, but I've paid X, Y, and Z. It's like I'll do a really boring podcast one time and take you through my books if you want, because you'll see that it goes on venue, wagons, wages, everything else. There's literally nothing in the pot. Like the
Yeah.
venues are 40 grand a pop.
Yeah, it's
So
mad.
where's your 100 quid going that? There's
Yeah.
nowhere. So, you know, we do rely a lot on these sponsors, so I know the pain like fully. You've literally you're an asset. So for Lucy's the asset, her name,
Mm.
her social awareness, her presence in that scene, and for us, it's obviously Graft as a brand putting the events on.
You know what, Lucy, as well? I mean, a lot of people do things on social media and they kind of try and be this character to, albeit get sponsorship. What I've seen from you, just giving you my opinion over the last few years, watching you develop and train and obviously perform, this mental grit and resilience, this beast-like fire inside you. You know, I've seen you on interviews before at the games and other events, and when they ask you about the pain, and you talk about how you love it and you do it for those moments. And I've heard various interviews about that, and that for me has shaped a personality without realizing it. That this, when people mention Lucy Campbell, it's like she is an absolute machine. And I think you've built your own personality through just being you, rather than trying to do things maybe that others do things just to get publicity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I and it's definitely one of the things that I realize more. I think now that I interact more frequently with people who maybe have that sort of big Instagram following, and you sort of expect them to
Yeah.
be one way because of what you see on social media, and they're
Hmm.
not necessarily that. And I do get that, you know, like everyone, you can put on a front for social media. I think I don't necessarily. I think actually,
Agreed.
or the front that I put on social media is that I'm potentially more confident in person than I think people would expect. Like if someone came over to me in the gym today that I didn't know, or actually this was bizarre. I got the train up to Manchester today, got recognised on the train. That's never happened before, by a guy who clearly does CrossFit, and he'd come over to say hi. And because I was so like taken aback, I was like, oh, thank you. And like I wasn't like interacting in the same way that I would be now, because I was so
Yeah.
like, what the hell is going on? Because it comes back like I'm just someone who trained really hard and got to the level that
Yeah.
I'm at. Like I'm exactly like
Yeah.
everyone else. But I think for me, I want my social media to be incredibly authentic. I want it to show like the highs and the lows and the things that I struggle with. I think where I struggled with that the most was actually when I was at my lowest during the injury, where I almost wish that I had documented everything, because I
Right.
think then people really would have seen just how sort of dark it got at times.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it would have made the comeback look even better, but like hindsight. But because I wanted to be authentic, it means that you are putting all of yourself into all of those sorts of interactions as well with everyone on Instagram and everything. And at that point in time, I did not have the energy to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I
No, that's fair.
think, yeah, it's definitely, but I think the reality is, you know, I hope that I come across on Instagram the way that people would interact with me in real life as well. Because I definitely know that my sort of most engaged with content is always the stuff that is kind of brutally honest, about athlete
Yeah,
life, about
for
coaching,
sure.
about whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think, and that's what you've said there is exactly the point I was making, that you are who you are, whether you're on the dance floor, as it were, or whether you are, talking to a stranger on the train. Like, you are who you are, and I think you've built that personality. And I think everyone now knows Lucy Campbell as this character, which is you, whereas other athletes actually build other characters. And this is who I am in front of the camera, and this is who I am on the dance floor. But for you, this is who Lucy Campbell is. I think it's a great brand. I think it's really inspirational, and you sharing that with us today is really, really helped. Hopefully the listeners get to understand a bit more about you, and it isn't all about being confident. We are also normal human beings. Anna, have you got any sponsors by any chance?
No, I don't. I'm not at that level yet, but I was very
Right, let's give you a plug, Anna. Let's get you some sponsors then. Right, we're gonna do a big shout out. Anna, you've got 30 seconds to go and get a sponsor. Let's go.
No, but honestly, I feel a little bit the same. I think these kind of things, they should happen naturally. And as much as like I do like social
Yeah,
media, like looking at stuff and following people and like trying to post whatever I do as well. But I also a true believer of like being authentic is how you're gonna get things. So I'm not out here trying to grasp things. But
no,
yeah, whatever happens, happens. Yeah, I just want to do really well. And like one day it would be lovely to have at least maybe supplement brand, so I don't need to spend money on like creatine, protein and stuff like that, electrolytes, but it's fine. I'll keep spending the money. But one day it will be cool, and it will be more rewarding because you've earned it by being great rather than
yeah,
trying to do it through the whole social media or anything else. It could work together, but yeah, I'm very much team Lucy as well. Do things authentically, and things will happen. But being in a world of social media, like doing comps and like speaking to the right people and like making connections, like that's also awesome. Like I've done so much great stuff just through competing and meeting new people, and through that, like just having some links that you could do cool stuff with. So yeah, sponsors will come, I'm sure. Let me do my first RX comp
of
first.
course. Just go and win the Arnolds. That's what you got to do the weekend, win the Arnolds.
Just that.
um, I I think if there's one moment that doesn't define you, Lucy, but one moment that I think of that sticks in my mind and stands out, that kind of represents you, is when you were hitting the cleans and you couldn't catch it because of your wrist, and you were putting your arm out and you were catching them with one straight arm. That just epitomizes everything of kind of what you're about. Did you practice that before you went out to the floor?
Oh, 100%. There's no way I'm catching a 90-kilo
Yeah,
clean
that's
in a
what I thought.
semi front rack without doing it before. Um,
Give it a
no, it
whirl.
was something that we'd sort of played around with, because it wasn't really until September 2024 that I was
Right.
actually getting back into doing a full front rack.
Yeah.
Um, and so we wanted to obviously start training cleans before that point, so we started playing around with alternatives.
Right.
Yeah, I remember
If,
seeing you training before, your training videos, and like a lot of your front squats were that like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I did go and I saw that. I thought, you know what, that's insane. I want to give it a try. So I went to the pain cave and I thought I'd try it. Goodness me, it was a mistake. And I was only trying it at lightweight. Wow, so much timing's involved. I think that should actually be a move in
A
CrossFit, the
movement.
single arm clean person.
I think no hands. I think no hands.
No,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to see you do it the weekend.
I'll do it.
Straight to the trachea.
Yeah, straight in the throat.
That was what I was
Um,
doing though. I was doing full zombie cleans for a while, and then took one too many barbells to
yeah.
the throat and was like, "No, I need to keep a hand on here."
Anna, look at the workout right now. Is there anything you want to ask Lucy about one of these workouts? Something you can get a bit of support or help with?
Well, to be fair, I do need support on all of them, I would say. Um, I think for me, it's going to be a lot to do with not nerves, but like I'm really like surprisingly, I'm really looking forward to now the handstand walk one, because it's going to be tons of them and I can barely do them. So I think just kind of, I guess, what you do when you get like not nervous, but I guess in a sense you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. Like, I don't know how to do this. And you're in a comp environment. Like, I'll be like that on handstand walks and ring muscle ups. I mean, I'm just trying to have a great time. But like, if you were to give me an advice as an athlete, like, what could I do like to make it happen, even though it might not happen really? I don't know if that's making any sense, the question.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's two things. Number one, stay in your own lane in this circumstance. If you know that you are going to be in a heat with a lot of people who don't have the same problem as you, don't pay attention to everyone else. Only pay attention to yourself. If your goal in this situation is to maybe get one length of the handstand walk, that has to maintain as your goal.
Yeah.
You can't get carried away with those people that are now going back and forth and they're on round 3 and you're still on round 1. Your goal in that workout isn't to finish a workout, it's just to get that one handstand walk. So remember to focus on yourself. The second thing is with that, and like what Hornsey said earlier, like trust the magic of that comp floor environment. I know that sounds really cringe, but like special things really do happen on the comp floor if you believe them. And that's why like my mantra and now like my brand accidentally is now like find a way, because that's the feeling in CrossFit that you always have to figure out. You know, like at the games for us, it might be that you get presented with a movement that you don't know how to do, that no one really knows how to do, and so we have to find a way to do it. For you, it's that like you know the movement that you can't do yet, but you still want to find a way to do it. So you have to trust that ability to like problem solve and figure it out, and just like use the moment to get the best out of yourself.
Thank
Yeah.
How's
you.
that, Anna?
Thank
Is that a
you.
good answer or what, eh?
No, that
From
is,
the
and also
legend that is Lucy Campbell.
I think I also found my partnership, not new sponsorship. Just find a way T-shirt. Oh my God, that's a new sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
You get that full length then. You get that full length, and we'll
Okay.
put you in touch with Lucy.
Thank
But
you. Thanks, Lucy.
on a kind of echo on that for everyone, like I do think that is one big one that catches a lot of people down. And obviously, and I've seen you quite a fair few times like on the scene at our comps, so experienced, but we will have people there that are inexperienced. And the main thing that I can 2 pointers is set realistic targets and stay in your own lane. It's your race. And from right up at like Anna's level where she's going to be competing, you've got experienced people. So the pace will probably be fairly similar. But people will have different skill sets. And the people that go past you on the gymnastic, you might outlift on the different workout. It's all swings and roundabouts. So don't get a negative mind shift from someone going past you on a workout. Likewise, for like beginners and novices, don't stay in your lane of how you're going to hit that workout, because I can guarantee, especially from intermediate downwards, there are people that go out way too hot. And if you go out thinking that's the pace I've got to be at, even though I'm very uncomfortable, you redline in the first 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and then you're in a bag of misery for the rest of the workout instead of hitting it intelligently how you know you can hit it. Have fun with people, have your targets. If your goal is to like just crack those handstand walks, if it doesn't go completely to plan, you've still kind of accomplished the goal because it was to give them a go. Okay. If you get that first length in and you're buzzing, you're now on a massive positive to carry on going. If your goal is to finish the workout and you struggle in round 1, your mindset is in the bin.
Yeah,
on round
100%.
1.
good point. Mm.
A lot of this like competitive competing is like in mindset and up here, and knowing what you can do in a workout and not really caring what left and right you were doing. It's just that's what I'm going to do. This workout, I might not come first place. That workout is my absolute jam. I'm going to smash that and have so much fun and having a laugh doing it all.
Yeah,
I
really
think the
good
thing
point.
is, sorry,
Go on,
off
Lucy.
the back of that, just quickly, like ultimately it's a competition and you're in a race, but like in order to get the best out of yourself, you need to know when to race.
Yeah,
So
really good point.
at the start of the workout is absolutely not the time to be in a race mindset. You need to get yourself to a position where with like 2 minutes, 90 seconds, one round to go, whatever it might be, that then you can start looking around and seeing who you can beat. Because ultimately, like Hornsey said, if you race from round one, you are going to end up redlining and then you cannot race later.
Yeah.
And actually, the race happens later. You need to put yourself in the best position in the early parts of the workout to then be able to race later.
I've made some notes while you've been saying that, Rick and Lucy, and I'm gonna remember this on the first workout on the weekend, because we all know what happens. Right, this is all such great content and such good information. But Anna, let's make each other a promise, right?
Right.
On the weekend, let's
Yeah.
not go out too hot. Let's just stay in control, because we know what
That's
it's
it.
like. And I
Stay in
mean,
our lane.
yeah, that I enjoy it because I love getting wrapped up in the emotion. I really enjoy the fact that you're on the start line, the 3, 2, 1, go, the music's on, rather than me at home in my gym on my own all the time. And you have a plan until the 3, 2, 1 goes happen. So I'm gonna make a promise to all three of you that on Sunday I am gonna send it in the first 30 seconds. No, I am gonna stay composed and stay on top of the performance.
I-
Lucy, I have got this one question I ask everyone when they come on the podcast. Although I don't know if I should do it, Rick, is when you are in a workout and you are redlining, and I call it chasing pain. That's what the podcast is called, and I like to get everyone's opinion on this. Is what is your mindset of when the head is saying no, the body's saying no? Is it self-talk? Have you got things you go to mentally to deal with that moment? Is it close your eyes and go harder? Do you lean into it? What is that thought process? Because I've heard you in so many interviews talk about this pain and about how you thrive on it, and physically you can see that you do. I'd love to just get inside that mind a little bit and see how you are dealing with that moment.
I think ultimately, like, I know that that's where I'm good, number one. I think number two, I also know that that's exactly where I'm meant to be at that
Yeah.
point in time. Like, you don't want to, as long as I'm not round one and feeling like that, as long as I'm like feeling like that at the right point in time,
Yeah.
I know that that is the feeling that I should be having at this point. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is expecting things, let's say in a workout scenario at least, expecting it not to be difficult. Like, it is meant to be difficult. It is meant to hurt in some
Yeah.
way, shape, or form. And I think the thing is that when you go into any workout expecting that, then it doesn't surprise you when it comes. You're ready for it, and you're ready to then like move into it rather than try and resist it and back off. And I think that's ultimately like where I am comfortable, I guess.
Yeah.
I think
Brilliant.
it's a skill as well, isn't it? I think that not enough people kind of train that, so they will train, skill sets, they will train metabolic conditioning, etc., but they don't actually really train and have an understanding of how deep into the hole they are and where they need to sit at.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Lucy's had years and years as a competitive athlete in various domains, so this kind of understanding is born and bred in there. I think my understanding before was probably from my military background, but whenever I'd compete, most people, like in a gym environment, will probably just redline, and they will be like, you know, in the pain cave, holding on for dear life. Whereas I think once you actually have an understanding of where things feel, like the RPE of actually how much in your pain cave you are, it's like, right, do you know what? Like, this is miserable, but I know that I can still drop it a gear here and let loose. Whereas a lot of people have already dropped that gear and they're on the tatters trying to get through the workout. It's like, no, there's levels of pain. It's like you need to
Yeah.
learn to train them as well. You need to learn to sit in that miserable zone, but you can go more miserable, and then you're just in it. I think like Reggie said it really well when he was on about, obviously, with the erg workout, where
Yeah.
he was, I was in misery, but I knew I still had another gear. So all I was doing was I was keeping an eye on, left and right and seeing where I needed to be. And I was just staying where I knew there was an extra little bit of misery that I could go to. I think that's a real skill set that a lot of people struggle with. They're kind of straight in the bin and then just hang on for dear life.
Yeah, and
Whereas,
a lot of that does come from putting yourself in that position on a consistent basis, going too far, digging a hole. You need to put yourself in that position as many times as possible to learn about your body and your mechanics and where you can push.
yeah, but also just understanding yourself as an athlete. Like if I was to talk to a lot of like not novice CrossFitters, they're literally like every workout they're putting themselves in the bin. And I'm going to put all my hands up to it now because I'm still struggling to get my fitness back after that row. So I'm my measurables of where I am in the bin is out because it's where I was a few years ago and I'm not there anymore. And I'm struggling to kind of adjust it of where
Right.
you should sit in a workout without pushing
Yeah.
it too hard. So, it's when you're doing your training, train with intent. So you don't need to beat your mate on the board in the gym or be the top of the board in the gym if you've absolutely put yourself in the bin for 15 minutes. It's like try and sit slightly out of that, come second or third, or come a second after your mate. Doesn't matter, but you've done the workout kind of cruising in a little bit of misery instead of completely in the bin.
Yeah.
And learn to sit at that. Because if you can do that as an athlete, then you do stay in your lane because then you're not looking left and right and thinking, I've got to keep up with them. You're like, no, because they're in the bin already. And I'm going to go past
Yeah.
them at 6. So what I'm doing is I'm sitting in like 70% misery, plodding away, moving well, not getting any no reps because I'm not absolutely time to time yet. And then when I need to drop this gear, like Lucy said, that 1 round to go or 45 seconds, that's when you'll see me drop the hammer. And I've still got it. I've still got some more in that misery bin to go to. So you'll see it then.
I think as well, just like off the back of that, like the saying that every CrossFitter loves is send it. And it's like, well, maybe we don't. Not quite. Not from right at the start.
Yeah.
Maybe
There's
approach a
time and a
5-round
place.
workout. Yeah, well, also maybe approach a 5-round workout as if you want to get faster every round.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, how many people have done an open workout where first attempt they've gone way too hot, second attempt they've paced it way better, and then they have something to pick up on at the end.
Mhm.
And actually, number one, it's a more pleasant experience,
Yeah.
and number two, you go faster. Like, just because you spend, using Hornsey's analogy, just because you spend the whole workout at 10 out of 10 misery doesn't mean that that's the fastest way to do it. It just means that you put yourself in a hole that you physically cannot recover from without actually just resting.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the things, is like pacing is massive, but it is a skill.
Yeah,
And
it is.
not enough people really ever spend that much time thinking about it. And to be fair, like if you're doing 2 or 3 comps a year and you really love just putting yourself in a bin, by all means, go out like a nutter on every single event. But if you actually want to like come away from it being like, wow, I did way better on that than I thought I was going to, you need to start paying attention to your pacing skills.
Yeah, and yeah, really good points. I know something I really like looking into numbers and things and pacing strategies. And Anna, are you a pacer or are you a kind of commit all in?
I would definitely say that throughout the time and years of training, you definitely learn your body better. And there's definitely more pacing now. On the very first comp, it was all full send because I thought that is the best way to do it. And I died after the first workout. I was cramping up on the second one. I couldn't even finish it. So there's definitely pacing. There's definitely a bit more strategy. And obviously the vibes are going to bring the heats, and like the friends shouting at you is definitely going to speed you up a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely not going full send straight away. Definitely kind of building it up and just seeing exactly the workouts I'm good at. I'm gonna try and do my best and like try to speed it up. But the rest, I'm just gonna, as you guys said, stay in my lane and just do my thing and not put too much pressure on the fact that everybody else is doing better, because that's okay. It's like we all like trying to level up. It's my first RX comp, so I'm going with right intentions. There is pressure, but not pressure to an extent that I must podium. But like I'm not. Like I'm gonna podium in a sense of I'm winning already by just qualifying and doing it. So it's sick. So yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Well, I would say that now, and I think you speak for a lot of people. Really good points. We're coming to the end of the podcast now, guys. Believe it or not, we're only an hour in. Absolutely smashed it. I want to I want to thank Anna for joining us today. I know you rushed back from work because the time change because of Hornby. But Anna, it's been so lovely having you back on the podcast
Oh, thanks so much for having
again
me.
with
It's been
your
a
energy.
pleasure.
No, it's great. I look forward to meeting you for the first time at the Arnolds,
Same.
and obviously we'll do some interviews and things and share
Yeah.
conversations, and I'll be watching your lane and telling you to slow down and pace it. Rick, good luck for the rest of the week, mate. You've got a massive rest of the week incoming. You've got a big build to set up, and you've got them 4-foot ropes to put up as well, haven't you?
Yeah, 34. You've just said so.
34. Okay.
You
Yeah.
required them. You request.
And Lucy, today well, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. The penultimate episode of the Arnold series. I feel really happy and I'm proud to be able to bring this to the community of CrossFit and everyone that's going to the Arnold Games. I hope you enjoy the experience. Lucy, good luck for the rest of the season, and I hope you absolutely smash it. But otherwise, everyone, thank you so much. If you have just listened to the whole podcast, thank you. Please save it, follow the podcast on Instagram, and give us any comments you like about the podcast. That'd be lovely. But otherwise, for now, everyone, thanks so much. And until next time, we'll see you soon.